Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the entire staff of Beech Motor Speedway and the Cusack family, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Maine's oldest continually operating family-owned speedway. My name is Bruce Eldy, your race commentator. And tonight, Beech Motor Speedway is host to the Maine Lubrication Service Company, longtime sponsor here at the Beech Motor Speedway, and it's a pleasure to welcome the folks from Maine Lubrication Service back with us. Assistant starter Junior Niles on the flag stand for heat number 1 for the limited Sportsman. Clear from atop the flag stand. Cars staging down into turn 3. The pace car will make its way onto the infield pit road. Rick Libby and Paul Driscoll bring the field down looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Slight advantage, Paul Driscoll from the outside as they race across the stripe down into turn 1. Side-by-side battle at turn 2. Fender ahead by Driscoll from the outside. He takes over the point at turn 3. Paul Driscoll, one feature win to his credit in the 1991 season. Tangle in turn 4. The 53 of Don Mina gets turned about. Takes the 42 of Kurt Bean around with him. Everyone is underway and we stay under green. Back up front. 5 to 6 car length lead for Paul Driscoll in the number 45. Then comes Rick Libby in the 77. Al Meserve in the 112. Robbie Herrick in the 86. And Donnie Whitten in the 83. Presently, that last qualifying position is in the hands of Gene Theriault in the 41. Remember, only 12 qualifying positions available. Paul Driscoll, who just a few weeks ago recorded his first ever feature event win in the limited sportsman division with an impressive win holding off veteran Pee Wee Knight, is back with an impressive showing in his qualifying heat, stretching out his lead now over Rick Libby in the 77. Then comes Al Meserve in the 112. Robbie Herrick looks to the outside of the 112, trying to challenge for position number 3. Robbie Herrick in the 86. Herrick gets it way wide, right out over the stripe. Donnie Whitten trying to close up that inside groove, but Herrick continues to hang on to position number 4 as the battle for second, third, fourth begins to heat up. Last qualifier continues to be Gene Theriault in the number 41. Robbie Herrick continues his march up the outside, now trying to challenge for that second place position to the outside of the 77 of Libby. Junior Niles indicating it will be the halfway point next time around. Robbie Herrick continues to work the outside, down to turn 3, draws it even with Rick Libby in the 77. Side by side out of 4 across the stripe, side by side. The race is for second place. Libby to the inside, Robbie Herrick to the outside. Herrick with a fender ahead on the backstretch. Robbie Herrick trying to squeeze that 96 by the 77. Out of turn 4, he does. Robbie Herrick now in second place, but he has a long ways to go if he's going to close it up on race leader Paul Driscoll. Challenge now for that last qualifying position. Phil Weber up to battle, Jimmy Emerson rather, up to battle to the outside of the 41 of Gene Theriault. Last qualifier now would be the 73 driven by Jimmy Emerson. Junior Niles indicates just 2 to go next time by. And an impressive run by Paul Driscoll in the number 45. About a straightaway lead for Driscoll over second place. Robbie Herrick, then Ricky Libby, Al Meserve, and Don Whitt in the top 5. White flag out, 1 lap to go. Checkered flag in the air for Driscoll as he claims heat number 1 in the limited sportsman division in an impressive way over Robbie Herrick in the 86, Rick Libby, Al Meserve, Don Whitt for the top 5. Claiming heat number 1 in the limited sportsman division. Definitely a youngster to keep your eye on in the upcoming main event a little bit later on in the program. Driscoll out of Scarborough. One future win to his credit. Definitely a youngster to keep your eye on in the main event. Looking for a start at turn 4. Front row once again, David Sprague in the number 1, Bobby Cotton in the 17. Flagman points to the stripe in turn 4, looking for an even start. Green is out. David Sprague with the advantage across the stripe and down into turn 1. Problems on the 99 as he appears to be headed right on a pit road. First time out for the number 99. Mechanical problems immediately. Sprague brings him down to lead lap number 1. Side-by-side battle for the second position. Russ Johnson with about a half a car length lead for that second position in the 19. But here comes Bobby Cotton back up on the outside. Doug Shores in the 07 looking for racing room on the bottom. Can't find it. All new Super Sportsman division, and the field has been tightening up little by little as the weeks have passed here in this 91 season, as the crews begin to find the combination a little bit better and a little bit better each and every week. Doug Shores on the move up the inside as he takes over position number 3. Tim Maloney trying to follow suit to the inside. The 17 gets out of shape coming out of turn 4. Bobby Cotton does a nice job of collecting the car up. Spin as the 17 and the 93 get together. Reps looked a little bit as though Bobby Cotton thought maybe he got some help there in the 4-turn, and all clear from atop the flag stand, and we'll try it once again. 4 laps of this 10-lap qualifying heat for the Super Sportsman division. This time Dave Sprague will have Russ Johnson to his outside. Green is up. Sprague out of turn 4 and across the stripe with a slight advantage. Side-by-side battle through turns 1 and 2. Sprague with the advantage on the backstretch. Halfway point, 5 down, 5 to go. At the point, it continues to be Dave Sprague. Doug Shores taking over second spot from the inside. Danny Palmer on the move on the outside. Danny Palmer working to the outside of Tim Maloney. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicates it will be just 2 to go next time by. Side-by-side battle continues for that 4th place position. 2 to go as they cross the stripe. Continues to be Dave Sprague, followed by Doug Shores, then Russ Johnson in the number 19. On the move, the number 93, Danny Palmer, as he has worked his way by the 69 of Maloney and trying to find a way to challenge the 19. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Danny Palmer in the 93 trying to challenge now for third. Draws it even out of turn 2 with Russ Johnson. Side by side to turn 3. The race is for the third place position. Checkered flag in the air. Sprague, Shores. Whoa, too close to call for that third place position. Russ Johnson and Danny Palmer across the line nearly wheel to wheel. Word from scoring is the 19 was in third and the 93 fourth. Winning heat number 1 in the Super Sportsman division. A nice round of applause, please, for David Sprague in the number 1. All clear from flagman Eddie Walsh as the cars work down into turn 3. And we look for a start out of turn 4. Tim Land, Casey Nash. Green is out. Tim Land with a quick jump right into the lead off the point. Gary Pulsiver second. Here comes young Mike Mayetta in the number 3 to third place position. Cars out of shape. Casey Nash out of shape along with Steve Carrier. Carrier does a nice job of avoiding the 31. Unable to refire the 83 and the 31. Heat number 1 for the late model Sportsman. Once again, it'll be Tim Land and Gary Pulsifer. Green is up. This time, Pulsifer with the advantage from the outside. Gary Pulsifer with a strong move from the outside front row. Here comes Kerry Winslow in the number 22 as he works to the outside of Tim Land. Takes over the second place position on the front stretch. Tim Land to third. Young Mike Mayetta in the number 3 is fourth, and the battle is for fifth. Bobby Libby to the inside, Gary Johnson to the outside. Side by side battle for third now as Tim Land has gotten beneath the number 3 of Mike Mayetta. Mayetta gets that third position to himself once again. Tim Land is fourth, Bobby Libby fifth. They'll be approaching the halfway mark this time by. 5 down, 5 to go. Gary Pulsifer showing the way in the 27. Kerry Winslow in the 22, young Mike Mayetta in the 3, Tim Land in the 16, and Bobby Libby in the 34. Kerry Winslow tightening up on race leader Pulsifer now. Looks beneath the 27. No room that time. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicating it'll be just 2 to go next time by. Continues to be Gary Pulsifer in the lead with the number 27. Kerry Winslow continues to look for a lane beneath the number 27. Once again, Kerry Winslow beneath the 27, not quite room enough. White flag in the air. They are in their last lap. Gary Pulsifer holding off, hard charging Kerry Winslow. Checkered flag will fly out of turn 4. Pulsifer claims heat number 1, followed by Kerry Winslow, Mike Mayetta Jr., Tim Land in the number 16, and Gary Johnson in the number 53. Nice round of applause, please, for the winner of heat number 1 in the late model sportsman division, Gary Pulsifer in the number 27. It's a 1990 Buick, sponsored by the Body Shop, along with G&R Automotive and Cumberland Auto Salvage. These are the high point men. Looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. From the inside, Danny Bubar. From the inside of the second row, tangle in turn 1. Donnie Morse, Quinn, Adams, Kevin Buck, Rick Frenette, all back underway. We stay under green. Up front, Danny Bubar shows the way in the number 24, followed by rookie Dennis Hall in the number 94. Then comes Chuck Haynes. Veteran Dwight Shepard in the 34 on the move. Billy Thompson in the number 6 rounds out your top 5. Side-by-side battle, but Shepard is going to make quick work of taking over position 3. Men on the move, veteran Dwight Shepard in the number 34. Here comes Billy Thompson now to the outside of Chuck Haynes in the 68. Last qualifier at the moment, I believe, would be Pee Wee Knight in the 111. Danny Bubar continues to show the way. A lot of pressure now from Dennis Hall in the 94. Then comes Dwight Shepard in the 34. Billy Thompson is 4th. Battle for 5th. Mike Field working beneath the 68 of Haynes. Coming to the inside also, Phil Weeks in the number 19. Larry Gelinas looks for racing room between cars. 3 wide in turn 1. Larry Gelinas on the move, working to the outside of the number 80 of Darrell Ward. Meanwhile, things have tightened up front. Dwight Shepard and Billy Thompson have closed it in on Danny Bubar and Dennis Hall in the 94. Now it is a battle for 3rd as Billy Thompson races beneath the 34 of Dwight Shepard. Billy Thompson up the inside, trying to get into that 3rd place position, and he does at turn 3. Halfway point. 8 down and 7 to go. Last qualifier appears to be the 69 of Richard Olin. Correction on that 68, Chuck Haynes. Last qualifier right now would be the 68, driven by Chuck Haynes. Donnie Morse putting a strong push on, trying to get up into a qualifying position. Morse was a feature event winner just a couple of weeks ago. Very competitive limited sportsman class. A lot of top cars still sitting outside of a qualifying position. Side-by-side battle for that last qualifying position. Chuck Haynes to the inside. Donnie Morse with the advantage from the outside. Problems on the 34 of Shepard as he heads to pit road. Tough break for Dwight Shepard in the number 34 as he has to give up a qualifying position and take the 34 on a pit road. Blackman Eddie Welch indicates 2 to go next time by. 3-car battle at the front. Still Danny Bubar at the point. Dennis Hall, but here comes Billy Thompson in the number 6 as he is reining in the 1 and 2 place competitors. Top 3 have run away from the rest of the pack. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Man on the move is Larry Gelinas in the 37 as he works now to the outside of the fourth place competitor, Mike Field in the 88. Mike Field still with the advantage down the backstretch into turn 3. Checkered flag in the air. Danny Bubar, Dennis Hall, Billy Thompson, Mike Field, Larry Gelinas, Phil Weeks. Last qualifier, unofficially, the number 70, driven by Jeff Morgan. Winning heat number 2 in the limited sportsman division in the number 24, Danny Bubar. All clear from flagman Eddie Walsh. He points to turn 4. Spike Manitoul, Dave Bath. Green is out. Spike Manitoul from the inside with the advantage. Dave Bath working to the outside of Mark LeBlanc, trying to hang on to that second place position. LeBlanc draws it even at turn 4. The race is for second. Mark LeBlanc with the advantage across the stripe in the 08. Dave Bath fighting back, draws it even into turn 2. On the backstretch, slight advantage to the 08, driven by LeBlanc. Dave Bath just a little out of shape, and Ken McLeod takes advantage of that as he works now to the outside of Kevin Durgan. Last week's feature winner in the number 6, Ken McLeod on the move, now to the outside of the 27 of Pelton. Ken McLeod on the move, winningest driver in this Super Sportsman division, trying to take it all the way to the front, up the outside. Former modified hot shoe Spike Manitoul in the 89, trying to hang on to the point. Side by side, they race the backstretch to turn 3. Halfway point coming up. Ken McLeod, slight advantage across the stripe, puts it ahead at turn 2. 4 feature wins thus far for the number 6, driven by McLeod, and he continues to show the strength of the Ace Hardware Jansen Service Center number 6. On the move, Scott Mulkern in the number 14, taking over the second place position at turn 3. Scott Mulkern filling in for Chris Rule. Rule injured in a crash here about 2 weeks ago. Scott Mulkern, his first night filling in, captured the 50-lap feature event in the number 14. Came back to crash hard Wednesday night. Waddy Hamilton crew have certainly done their homework in putting the front snout back on that number 14 and certainly getting it right. There was some apprehension. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Scott Mulkern trying to rein in race leader Ken McLeod. Side-by-side battle at third. Spike Manitoul and Mark LeBlanc. Then comes Richard Pelton and Dave Bath, wheel-to-wheel. Checkered flag in the air, Ken McLeod, Scott Mulkern, Spike Manitoul, Mark LeBlanc, and Richard Bubba Pelton for the top 5. Ken McLeod out of Saco, Maine, driving the 1990 Pontiac Grand Prix. Coast down to the start-finish line. Nice round of applause, please. Winningest driver in this new Super Sportsman division. Once again, the car is sponsored by Jansen Service Center, along with Ace Hardware, Jim's Auto Parts, and Hobbies Plus. 10 laps. These are your high point late model Sportsman cars and drivers. On the front line, Joe Bowser and Bobby Babb. Bring them down to turn 4. Green is out. Joe Bowser with the advantage across the stripe and down to turn 1. Bobby Harrison coming up to challenge for second. Inside groove with the advantage as Harrison and Paul Johnson advance to second and third. Bobby Babb trying to gather it back up. Hung on the outside and no place else but to stay in that outside groove as Mike Johnson and Cusack along with the 56 in blue close up that inside lane. Babb making a shot again now to recapture that third place position if he can. Working to the outside of Mike Johnson, slips a little bit out of turn 4. Up front it continues to be Joe Bowser. A lot of pressure from Bobby Harrison in the 37. Paul Johnson is in third. Mike Johnson in fourth. Glenn Cusack now up to fifth. Tangle as Cusack and Mike Johnson get together. Little contact between the number 2 and the 33, and they got a little out of shape and give up some positions. Paul Johnson on the move now, looking to the outside of the 37 of Harrison. Paul Johnson in the number 35. Burst of speed, working lap number 7. Now up to challenge race leader Joe Bowser. It will be 2 laps to go. Continues to be Joe Bowser. A lot of pressure from Paul Johnson from the outside and Bobby Harrison from the inside. Andy Lude is up to 4th. Bob Randall 5th. Paul Johnson will have just 1 lap to do it if he's going to find a way around the 32. White flag is out. Bobby Harrison looked beneath the 32 and then decided better of that. Paul Johnson now draws it even down into turn 3, wheel to wheel with Joe Bowser. Bowser with the advantage out of turn 4. Checkered flag in the air. Joe Bowser by a fender over Paul Johnson. Then comes the 37, Bobby Harrison, the 56, Andy Lude, and the 91, Bob Randall. Winning the second qualifying heat in the late model Sportsman division. Nice round of applause, please, for Joe Bowser in the number 32. Car is a 1991 Chevy Lumina, sponsored by the Maine State Academy of Hair Design, along with Jeff Waterman's Ultra Service Center. High torque engines. Young man who is still looking for feature event win number 1 in the 1991 season. Jeff Charland on the front line. Assistant starter Junior Niles asked him to pick it up. Green is out. Bob Collette right on it quickly. Then Jeff Charland. Tangle in between turns 1 and 2. David Raymond along with the number 11 of Tim Marzelli. The 11 is left. Now he gets it underway. We stay under green. 11 headed right on a pit road. Some damage to the back of that car. Meanwhile, back up front it continues to be Bob Collette in the 87. Then comes Rocky Yargo in the 65. Guy Poulin in the 32. And Al Roberts in the 63 via top 5. Problems on the 89 of Steve Perry as he looks to be taking it back into the infield. Joe Green hung on the outside, trying to recover that second place position as he works to the outside of Rocky Yargo in the 65. Caution flag flies. We have the 97, Ralph Height, sitting up over the top of turns 3 and 4. We are ready to restart tonight's semi-feature. Looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Bob Collette right back into a quick lead. Rocky Yargo in the 65. Side-by-side battle for third. Joe Green to the inside. 3 wide there for a minute on the backstretch. Guy Poulin thought better of it, backed out of it. Al Roberts is up to 4th. Poulin 5th. Joe Green now challenging at the front. Puts a fender ahead at the stripe. His problems plagued the 87. Bob Collette taking the car toward the pit road. Tough break for the 87, but Joe Green at the point. Side-by-side battle for second. Al Roberts in the 63 takes over second. Rocky Yargo in third. Guy Poulin is 4th. Larry Vos now your 5th place competitor. Joe Green continues to show the way. A lot of pressure from Al Roberts in the 63. Guy Poulin up to 3rd in the number 32. Rocky Yargo is 4th. Larry Vos 5th. But he is working at trying to mount a challenge beneath the 65 of Yargo. Larry Vos takes over 4th. Rookie in the number 67. Strong run tonight in this semi-feature event. Approaching the halfway mark. Halfway point, and Joe Green continues to show the way in the number 30. Al Roberts in the 63. Poulin in the 32. Larry Vos in the 67, and Rocky Yargo in the 65. Al Roberts trying to find a way to challenge the number 30 of Joe Green. Thus far, he's been able to run right at the back bumper, but he's not been able to get out there and make a challenge to the outside of the number 30. Strong run thus far by Joe Green out of Windham, Maine in the number 30. Continues to hold off a veteran racer in the number 63, Al Roberts. Roberts now right up to the back bumper, letting Joe Green know that he's there on the backstretch, hoping that maybe he can put a little pressure on, cause Green to make a little mistake. Assistant starter Junior Niles indicated it will be just 2 laps to go this time by. Continues to be Joe Green, holding off hard-charging Al Roberts. Guy Poulin, Larry Vos, and in 5th place, Rocky Yargo. White flag in the air, just 1 lap to go. Continues to be Joe Green at the point. Put about a car length now on the 63 of Al Roberts. Checkered flag in the air. Joe Green will claim tonight's semi-feature, followed by Al Roberts, Guy Poulin, Larry Vos, and Rocky Yargo. Coasting down to the start-finish line. Nice round of applause, please, for the winner of tonight's Limited Sportsman semi-feature, Joe Green out of Windham, Maine. car is sponsored by Body Works, along with Robert Babb and Sons Logging and Timmons Machine and Fabrication, all out of Windham, Maine. All clear from the top of the flag stand from flagman Eddie Walsh. Looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Slight advantage from the outside. Rick Furnett across the line down into turn 1. Burnett takes over the point. Gene Theriault is second. Richard Olin third. Scott Chapman is fourth. Chuck Haynes fifth. Remember, only 8 positions available for the main event. Richard Olin up the inside. If Theriault goes a little bit wide. Side-by-side battle for fourth. 3 abreast out of turn 4. Chuck Haynes racing between cars. Trades a little paint with Scott Chapman. Gene Theriault hung 3 wide. Last qualifying position right now appears to be in the hands of Kevin Buck in the 25. Strong run by Rick Furnett in the 54 as he continues to put distance on the second place competitor Richard Olin. Top 3 in single file, but then a side-by-side battle right straight back from there. Side-by-side battle for fourth. Dave Langlis in the 93, Chuck Haynes in the 68 to his outside. Then comes Dennis Quinn and Tim Genren wheel to wheel. Then Gordon Nelson and Kevin Buck. Gary Adams looking for racing room, but the lanes are full in front of him. Halfway point. Rick Furnett continues to have the front to himself. Richard Olin pretty much by himself for second. Scott Chapman is third. And then things heat up. Dave Langlis. Dennis Quinn and the 68 of Chuck Haynes. Right now, the 12 would be the last place qualifier by a bumper. But Gary Adams is trying to squeeze to the inside and become that 8th and final qualifier. Gary Adams now in the 74 would be the last car to qualify for the main event if things finish the way they are now. Rick Furnett, impressive lead in the number 54, already one feature win in the 1991 season, has better than a half straightaway lead over the second place competitor. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicates it's just 2 laps to go. Last qualifying position right now appears to be to the 68 of Chuck Haynes. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Chuck Haynes running side by side with Gary Adams, trying to hang on to that last qualifying position. Checkered flag out for Rick Frenette, Richard Ullman, Scott Chapman, Dave Langless, and Dennis Quinn in the top 5. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to direct your attention to trackside and the moment that I'm sure many youngsters in particular have been waiting for. The opportunity to perhaps go home with this fancy little number 28 Haviland Texaco go-kart. We go trackside now to Andy Cusack. Andy?
Thanks, Bruce, and good evening, everybody. Somebody in this grandstand, hopefully they're here tonight, is going to win this little mini Winston Cup replica go-kart. Mr. Dave Fenderson from Maine Lubrication Services is here tonight to make the drawing. And Dave, I know you folks have been working hard to get this kart to give away, and it's going to be fun for you.
Well, we're looking forward to giving away a race car every year, and this is our 6th year at Beech Ridge, and again, we're looking forward to a long relationship with you folks who do such a great job for all the racing fans here in Maine, and this has turned out to be a big employee night for us as well as our guests from some of our customers.
Well, we thank you, Dave. We always enjoy having you folks here from Maine Lubrication. A lot of our customers are your customers too, and it's a lot of fun to have you folks out here. We'll let you make the drawing now. Reach in deep, swish around, and grab a name. You want to read it off?
Looks like Gail Shepard.
Gail Shepard, by the looks of the, looks like a Saco phone number. So Gail Shepard out of Saco, if you're here tonight, come on down to the main gate and back of the flag stand at this time, and you can claim your mini go-kart. While Gail is doing that, Diane Thompson, if you'd take that, you also have another award to present tonight, Dave. We'd also like to welcome forward Margaret Fenderson for a very special award, and I'd like to have all of your attention with us for a moment. Dave Fenderson.
It isn't very often that we have the opportunity to recognize one of our employees for military service, but I'd like at this time to award a special commemoration to Specialist Joseph Prout Jr. He served in the 619th Transportation Company, Operation Desert Storm. We're awarding him this plaque, which will hang in our gallery of awards. It says, "Thanks and well done from your friends at Maine Lubrication Service." Joey just returned from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Let's give Joey a big hand for the job that he did in Operation Desert Storm.
Welcome home, Joey. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Fenderson. Bruce Elder will go back to, and I'm sure we'll hear from Gail Shepard later on. If she's not here tonight, we'll be in touch with her by phone. Bruce Elder, back to you.
1, 2, 3. Gentlemen, start your engines. Now as the drivers come out of turn 4, let's give them a nice Beech Ridge Motor Speedway send-off. Please wave your hat, your hand, your handkerchief. Let them know that you send them off with your best wishes for a safe race. All clear from the top of the flag stand. Dave Sprague to the inside, Bobby Cotton to the outside, looking for a start at turn 4. We have green. Slight advantage, Dave Sprague takes it over at turn 2 on the backstretch. Bobby Cotton in second, Russ Johnson is third. Danny Palmer on the move on the outside, trying to work around the 07 of Doug Shores. Out of turn 4, continues to be Dave Sprague across the stripe. A lot of pressure from Bobby Cotton in the 17. Russ Johnson in the 19. Doug Shores in the 07. On the outside, Danny Palmer trying to find a way around the 07 of Doug Shores. Draws it even into turn 1, but Shores slides ahead at turn 2. Continues to hang on to that 4th qualifying position. Meanwhile, back up front, Bobby Cotton making a bid to the outside of the number 1 of Dave Sprague. Dave Sprague continues to hold the point. Bobby Cotton continues to make a bid now to the outside. Tries to draw it even at turn 2, side by side down the backstretch. Advantage at turn 3, Cotton from the outside. Sprague comes right back to challenge from the inside. At the stripe, Cotton by a fender. Rookie Bobby Cotton out of Tamworth, New Hampshire, mounting a challenge to the outside of Dave Sprague. Continues to put a fender ahead, but Sprague is right back on the inside. Side-by-side battle continues. Cotton with the advantage on the backstretch. Squeezes by from the outside. New leader working lap number 9 is Bobby Cotton. On the move, last week's feature event winner, Ken McLeod in the number 6, up to challenge Doug Shores now for that 4th place position. Bobby Cotton, Dave Sprague, Russ Johnson. Here comes Ken McLeod to the outside of the 19. Trying to take over that 3rd place position out of turn 4. Across the stripe into 3rd place, Ken McLeod. Ken McLeod continuing his march from the back of the pack. Problems on the 69 of Tim Maloney as the car slows right down on the backstretch. Appears to be headed pit road and a tough break for Tim Maloney in the 69. No, stays on the Speedway. Meanwhile, Ken McLeod continues his march to the front as he works his way around the number 1 of Sprague up into 2nd place. Also on that march to the front, the 27 of Pelton and the 14 of Scott Mulkern. Some of the heavy hitters breaking free of the pack. And on the move, among them the 27 of Pelton, the 14, Scott Mulkern. 14 crew and replacing everything from the firewall front in terms of the frame and suspension. And did it right. New sponsor on that 14, Rowell Insurance. Coming right at a time that the 14 crew needed an extra hand. Ken McLeod now making a bid to the outside of race leader Bobby Cotton. Working in lap number 17, Cotton goes a little wide and McLeod tries to the inside. No room. Has to back out of it. Race leader continues to be Bobby Cotton in the 17. Ken McLeod trying to find a way around the 17. Strong run tonight by Bobby Cotton. He's holding off one of the heavy hitters in this new Super Sportsman division, Ken McLeod. McLeod, already winner of 4 feature events, now makes the bid to the outside, tries to draw it even. On the front stretch, they come across the stripe side by side. Into turn 1, side by side. Advantage now out of turn 2. McLeod from the outside takes over the lead, working in lap number 20. New leader, Ken McLeod. Bobby Cotton is second. Pelton in third. Scott Mulkern is fourth. Sprague back to fifth. Scott Mulkern on the move now as he makes a bid to the outside of the 27 of Pelton. Scott Mulkern filling in for Chris Rule, winning a feature event on his first night behind the wheel of the number 14. Second outing hard into the backstretch wall. This is his third outing, and he is on a drive to the front, trying to take over that second place position. He works to the outside of the 17 of Cotton, down into turn 3, up into second place. Scott Mulkern in the 14. Bubba Pelton trying now to find a way to the outside of the 17. They will be approaching the halfway mark, indicates flagman Eddie Walsh. Ken McLeod, Scott Mulkern, Bobby Cotton, Richard Pelton, and Dave Sprague in the top 5. Side-by-side battle for 6. Doug Shores to the inside. Kevin Durgan to the outside. Mark LeBlanc on the move in the 08. Little by little, Scott Mulkern seems to be closing in on race leader Ken McLeod. McLeod has to deal with the lap cars first, and that may be a slight advantage for Scott Mulkern. McLeod coming up on the number 11 of Tony Field. Will work to the outside. Here comes Scott Mulkern, closing the gap once again. Out of turn 2 on the backstretch. Now Ken McLeod will have open track. Plenty of time left. Scott Mulkern is able to rein in the number 6 of Ken McLeod. Certainly has time enough to do. 20 laps remain in this 50-lap feature event. Little by little, closing in on the number 6 of Ken McLeod. Scott Mulkern has closed the gap to about 1 car length now after trailing Ken McLeod by 5 or 6 car lengths, has closed it right up. Indications would be that the 14 is perhaps turning the track just a little bit quicker than the number 6. And Ken McLeod certainly knows that he's there now. Both of these cars have captured 4 feature events thus far this season. 14 holds, I believe, about a 1-point lead. Car point standings. Scott Mulkern now trying to set up for a challenge on the number 6 of McLeod. Looks to the outside now, brings it way out to the stripe. Sets it in the second groove through turns 1 and 2. Looks to the outside again as they go the backstretch to turn 3. Here comes Mulkern with a challenge to the outside of Ken McLeod. Scott Mulkern closed the gap and now trying to mount a challenge. Working off the right rear of the number 6 of Ken McLeod. Tucks it back in. Pops back out again on the front straight. Once again, Scott Mulkern trying to draw it up to the outside of the number 6. Thus far, can't quite do it. Car's very even, and I'm sure Scott Mulkern is hoping that that number 6 will go a little wide on one of these turns. Mulkern takes it to the outside, then drops back in. I'm sure he's hoping that maybe in the process, Ken McLeod will get a little wide and open up that inside. Thus far, Ken McLeod has held that inside groove. I'm sure Ken McLeod's thinking is, Scott, if you're going to go by, you're going to have to do it on the outside. Here comes Mulkern with a bid again. Laps winding down now. Scott Mulkern once again sets it to the outside of the number 6. Out of turn 4, trying to draw it even. Into turn 1, side by side. Ken McLeod to the inside. Scott Mulkern to the outside. Side by side to turn 3. And they'll be coming on to lap some of these cars. Ken McLeod to the inside. Advantage on the outside by a bumper. Now by a fender. Half a car length on the outside. Mulkern with the advantage. Now coming onto a slower car, Danny Palmer moves way inside, but new leader, Scott Mulkern with a nice move from the outside. As he continually worked that outside groove, as Ken McLeod came onto some of the slower cars, Scott Mulkern was already out there in that second groove. The 89 Spike Manitoul gets it sideways out of turn 4, perhaps has a tire going down, smoke from the tires. Strong run by Scott Mulkern. Scott Mulkern now working around Russ Johnson's number 19. Ken McLeod trying to get back into it. White flag out, 1 lap to go. Impressive run by Scott Mulkern, looking to take his second feature event in 3 outings as a substitute driver in the number 14. Checkered flag will fly. Scott Mulkern, Ken McLeod. What a duel in this 50-lap Super Sportsman event. Third place to Pelton in the 27. Bobby Cotton is 4th. Kevin Durgan rounds out the top 5 in the number 7. Scott Mulkern coasts down to collect the colors from flagman Eddie Walsh. Will make his parade lap and then be back. And we'll have an opportunity to hear from tonight's Super Sportsman, winner of the mid-season championship race, Scott Mulkern. Car is sponsored by Griffin Motorsports along with Garrett Services, Tri-Sports. And new sponsor on the number 14, Rowell Insurance Company. And Scott Mulkern back. Andy?
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 out of 3 victories for Scott Mulkern and his outings behind the number 14. Welcome him into victory lane. Scott, congratulations. Another heck of a run tonight.
Oh, thank you. I can't tell you how happy I am. I got so many people to thank, I can't possibly remember them all, but the car was a total wreck after Wednesday night, and the crew deserves all the credit. They could have got discouraged awful easy, but I got to thank Wardy Hamilton, Chris Rule, Mike, Todd, George, Donnie Culprit helped us on the car. Special thanks to Bill Griffin at Griffin Motorsports and Alan Berry. They worked real hard. They brought the car in Thursday, worked on it Thursday and Friday. And, you know, we didn't have much time. We just set it down on the ground, and here we are.
Well, this has certainly been hit or miss for you. You've had 3 races behind the number 14 for Chris Rule, 2 victories, and 1 wreck on Wednesday night. What's the forecast for the number 14 and for Chris Rule? What's happening with the drivership?
Well, the car's been winning, wrecking, so I hope he's better and he's back in it next week, because he deserves to be here just as much as I do, and it's too bad he's hurt. One other person I'd like to thank is Dennis Rowell, Rowell Insurance. He came on as a sponsor this week.
Well, we hope Chris can make it back behind the wheel soon, too. Dave Fenderson from Main Lubrication Services has the memento for you. Dave?
Congratulations, Scott, on a great race. In all the years I've been coming to Beech, it's just going to be one of the best races I've ever seen. I'm just talking to security man, Sergeant Warner Garland. I can remember riding our bicycles out here when we were back many years ago. But we gave you a case of Sitco 20W50s. That may help you win some more races. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. Once again, a nice round of applause for Scott Mulkern.
All clear from flagman Eddie Walsh atop the flag stand as the drivers work the backstretch. Pace car onto the infield pit road. Ricky, Libby, Paul Driscoll bring them down to turn 4. Green is out. Side by side, Libby to the inside, Driscoll to the outside. Working that turn 2, slight advantage from the outside. Driscoll taking over the lead from the outside. Out of turn 4, Driscoll will bring him down to lead lap number 1. Ricky Libby is second. Lloyd Washburn is third. Side-by-side battle 4-4. Al Meserve to the inside. Robbie Herrick to the outside. Tangle in turn 2 will bring out the caution flag. Car sitting at the bottom of turn 2. Car at the bottom of turn 2 is Phil Weeks in the number 19. Safety crew says he is okay. All clear from atop the flag stand. 1 lap recorded. And we are ready to look for green once again at turn 4. Paul Driscoll and Ricky Libby at turn 4. Green is up. Driscoll with the advantage from the inside. The 60 of Washburn trying to take over second, and he does out of turn 2. Robbie Herrick up to third as he works beneath the 77 of Rick Libby. Keep your eyes on some of those heavy hitters from the back of the pack, because the high point men start at the very end of the pack. And somehow, usually, these guys find a way up through the pack. Tangle between turns 1 and 2. Pee-wee Knight gets turned about. The number 9 has shrapnel flying in all directions, some of it up at the top of turns 1 and 2, and that will put the field under caution.
6th place, Darrell Ward in the number 80. Bill Weeks is 7th. Rick Burnett 8th. Dennis Quinn 9th, and Billy
Back into a column of twos. All clear from atop the flag stand. Pace car makes its way onto the infield pit road, and we are ready at turn 4. Green is out. Once again, Paul Driscoll right from the point. Robbie Herrick muscles his way into second, working beneath the 60 of Lloyd Washburn. A tangle once again in that turn 1 area. Everybody is underway. We stay under green. Paul Driscoll, Robbie Herrick, Lloyd Washburn, Ricky Libby. Coming on the outside, Earl Glidden Jr. trying to work his way up into the top 5. Battle is for that 4th place position, now held by Ricky Libby in the 77, but he has all kinds of pressure on the outside from Earl Glidden. And to the inside, Andy Gayu in the 115. Here comes Gary Adams in the 74. 4 cars in a tight battle now, trying to jockey for that 4th place position. But Ricky Libby is holding on to 4th place. Meanwhile, up front, Robbie Herrick putting all kinds of pressure on race leader Paul Driscoll. Tangle on turn 3. So far, everyone avoiding the 45 of Paul Driscoll. Cars over the bank, and we'll give you a report on those cars just as soon as we have it. Word from the safety crew in the turn 3 area that the drivers are okay, a little shaken up. The 86 is Robbie Herrick and the number 6 Billy Thompson over there. Cars involved off over the top of turn 3. Once again, the 86 of Robbie Herrick, the 6 of Billy Thompson. Word from the safety officials over there. Drivers appear to be okay, a little bit shaken up, but telling the safety men that they are okay. Right now, 10 laps down, all clear from flagman Eddie Welch. Looking for a restart at turn 4. Andy Gayu on the point. Green is out. Andy Gayu right back into a lead. Gordon Nelson up the inside to take over second. Gary Adams is third. Side-by-side battle for 4th. Up into 4th comes Richard Olin. Almost gets tangled up with Gary Adams, backs out of it just a little bit. On the move on the outside in the number 70 is Jeff Morgan. Jeff Morgan now up to 5th, one of the hard chargers in this limited sportsman division. Number 70 on the move, works to the outside of the 69 of Olin. Now looks to make a bid for the 3rd place position. But as he looked to the outside of the 74 gets out of shape, and they tangle in the front wheel off one of the cars. Gary Adams losing a wheel off the 74 as he is set spinning into the pack. All clear from flagman Eddie Walsh as the cars work down into turn 3. 13 laps recorded on the board at turn 4. Green flag is out, but we have a car out of shape in turn 2. Paul Driscoll gets the car righted and back down to the inside before the pack comes by. Andy Gayu at the point. Hard charging Jeff Morgan up the inside into second place. Veteran Gordon Nelson to his outside in the 61. Side-by-side battle for second on the backstretch. Jeff Morgan to the inside, Gordon Nelson to the outside. Danny Bubar trying to challenge for third now. Andy Gayu doing a nice job in the 115, continues to show the way. Jeff Morgan in second, now looks to the outside of the 115. That will open up the inside now for the 24 of Danny Bubar. Danny Bubar up to challenge for second. But Jeff Morgan works now to the outside of race leader Andy Gayu. 3 wide into turn 3. The 24 has to back out of it just a little bit. Side-by-side battle at the point. Gayu to the inside, advantage to the outside. Jeff Morgan down into turn 1, puts half the car ahead, but here comes the 115 back up the inside. Advantage into turn 3, Morgan once again. Andy Gayu closes it back up to the inside. Across the stripe, Gayu on the inside in the 115 with the advantage. Working lap number 20. Leader continues to be Andy Gayu in the 115. Jeff Morgan trying to find a way to the outside of the 115, has not been able to do it yet. Momentarily put the car about 3/4 of the way by, then could not hold it there. Challenge now from the inside for second place. Danny Bubar in the 24. Works beneath the 70 of Jeff Morgan. Takes over second place. Jeff Morgan hung on the outside. No way to get to the inside as Phil Furnett now fills in that inside groove at the back bumper of the 24. Jeff Morgan once again to the outside, out and around the 15 of Andy Gayu. Out of turn 4, new leader Jeff Morgan. Burst of speed at turn 4, and Morgan worked his way around the 15. Here comes the 54 to take over second. Danny Bubar now will try to the outside of the 115, can't find room. Rick Burnett trying to mount a challenge to race leader Jeff Morgan. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicates it will be the halfway point when they cross the stripe next time around. 25 down, 25 to go. Jeff Morgan, Rick Burnett, Andy Gayu, Dennis Hall, and Danny Bubar in the top 5. Dennis Hall up to challenge beneath the 115 and take over the third place position. Danny Bubar also gets beneath the 115 to take over fourth. Jeff Morgan now into some slower traffic, trying to find a way by the 85 of Scott Chapman. Jeff Morgan and Rick Burnett now battling to get by the slower car. Rick Burnett makes the move on the outside, takes over the lead as Jeff Morgan gets hung up behind the 85. Did not quite make the move quick enough. And new leader working in lap number 29. The 54, Rick Burnett, with a strong run up the outside. Jeff Morgan now will try once again to work his way around Scott Chapman in the 85. Rick Burnett once again with an impressive show of strength in the car 54. Working himself out to a comfortable lead over the number 70. Just as he did in the consolation event earlier this evening. An impressive run by Rick Burnett in the number 54. He is followed by Jeff Morgan, Dennis Hall, Danny Bubar, Gordon Nelson in the 61, rounds out the top 5. Then comes Larry Gelinas, Darrell Ward, and Jimmy Emerson. Tangle in turn 4. Ricky Libby and Donnie Whitten get together. That takes the 83 up into the infield. '83 unable to refire, and the yellow flag will fly once again. 37 laps down, and the limited sportsman field goes under caution once again. All clear from flagman Eddie Walsh as the drivers glance to the flag stand, working down the backstretch, ready to restart once again. Pace car makes its way onto the infield pit road. The flagman points to turn 4. Rick Burnett on the hammer in turn 4. Green comes out. Rick Burnett with a big advantage out of turn 4, right back into the lead. The inside opens up for spin on the backstretch. Gordon Nelson gets turned about. Pee Wee Knight. Several other drivers up into the infield to avoid that. Dave Langless, Danny Bubar doing a nice job of avoiding that car. Caution flies once again. 77 of Rick Libby up against the backstretch wall. He finally gets the car going, but not before the caution flag flies once again. Once again, it will be Rick Burnett to the inside in the 54, Jeff Morgan to the outside in the number 70. All clear from the flag stand. Pace car to the infield pit road. Looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Rick Burnett once again with a strong pull right out of turn 4. Dennis Hall with a strong move to the inside to challenge Jeff Morgan now for that second place position. Morgan goes a little wide, opens up the inside for Dennis Hall in the 94. Hall gets it a little squirrely coming down the front stretch, and that gives the advantage to Morgan from the outside. On the move on the outside, Larry Jelinas in the 37 as he works to the outside of the 24 and looks to the outside of the 94. Larry Jelinas trying to mount a challenge for that third place position. Larry Jelinas working to the outside of Danny Bubar in the 24. Comes way wide down the front stretch. Loses some ground with that. Nearly had a side-by-side battle once again for second. But Jeff Morgan is able to hold off the hard-charging Dennis Hall. Morgan managing to just hold on to second-place position. Hall has to back off just a little bit, and here comes Larry Jelinas once again, working to the outside of the 94 of Hall. Morgan goes a little wide, opens up the inside for Hall. Hall trying to work beneath the 70 of Morgan. Strong run by Dennis Hall in the number 90. Hall in his rookie season battling wheel to wheel with veteran Jeff Morgan. And Morgan is a hard charger, so got to give Dennis Hall a lot of credit as he muscles his way beneath the number 70, takes over that second place position. Outstanding run by the rookie in the number 94, Dennis Hall. Now a side-by-side battle for third shaping up. Danny Bubar to the inside, Jeff Morgan to the outside. Larry Jelinas momentarily boxed in the number 37. Jelinas looking for racing room. Inside row opens up now. He's going to challenge Jeff Morgan to the inside. Couple of hard charges going at it wheel to wheel. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicates it will be just 2 to go next time by. Rick Furnett has just run away from the rest of the pack. Dennis Hall now with all kinds of pressure from Danny Bubar. 2 laps to go. Dennis Hall hanging on a second. Danny Bubar right at his back bumper. Here comes Larry Jelinas. Hall goes a little wide. Here comes Danny Bubar. 3 abreast down the backstretch. Couple of veterans put the move on the rookie. White flag in the air. The battle is for second. Danny Bubar to the inside. Larry Jelinas to the outside. Side by side at turn 2. Advantage on the backstretch Bubar, but here comes Jelinas. Checkered flag flies. Furnett takes the feature event. Out of turn 4, Danny Bubar to second. Larry Jelinas third. Dennis Hall is fourth. And Jeff Morgan fifth. Daring move as one went to the inside, the other to the outside of rookie Dennis Hall. And the youngster showed a lot of composure keeping that car straight. Rick Furnett becomes the first limited sportsman driver to grab a second feature event. And he does it in style with his Chevrolet Camaro. Rick Furnett, hard charger out of Waterboro, Maine, driving the Dayton used cars, Bragg's Auto Repair. Limited sportsman that has now captured 2 feature events in the 1991 season and is the only limited sportsman driver to do so. Rick Furnett returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh.
Rick, congratulations. It's nice to have you here tonight.
Well, thank you there. It's about time my luck turned around. We've been having bad luck for the last 5 weeks. I didn't know if it was going to last. I think we broke the spell finally.
I think you did tonight, too. It must have been kind of hair-raising for you in the last couple of laps on the final couple of restarts. Jeff Morgan right out beside you. Did you think you were going to pull it off?
Well, every time we get to the front, we usually do good. It's just to get there that's been the problem lately. But I want to thank Tom. We've been having bad luck, the owner of the car, and, well, I hope our luck changed around.
Well, it looks like it's changing tonight. Dave Fenderson from Main Lubrication Services has the presentation for you. Dave?
Rick, congratulations on an excellent race. I guess nobody could touch you out there tonight. I'm very pleased to present this trophy for you. And what you want to do is shine this car up every night and give it a big kiss, and it might help you out with your luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
And also tonight, Rick, the $50 Big A Auto Parts gift contingency goes to the Limited Sportsman Division. Another $50 for you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Rick Frenette.
All clear from Flagman Eddie Walsh at turn 4. Green is out. Steve Carrier with a strong move from the inside shows the way right from the pole. Gary Pulsiver making a bid to the outside. Gary Johnson to the inside. Rookie Steve Carrier shows the way. A lot of pressure now on the outside. Gary Pulsiver to the back bumper. Gary Johnson. Mike Mayetta Jr. trying to find racing room as he tries first to the inside, then to the outside. But those two grooves are filled. Here comes Gary Pulsiver with a strong move on the backstretch from the outside. Gary Pulsiver trying to put the 27 ahead out of turn 4. He does. New leader. Working lap number 4. Gary Pulsiver in the 27. Coming on the outside to second place, Mike Mayetta Jr. in the number 3. That drops Carrier back to third. Kerry Winslow in the 22 now mounting a challenge for that third place position. And then a side-by-side battle shaping up. Paul Johnson with a strong move beneath the 37 of Bobby Harrison. Continues to be Gary Pulsiver in the 27. Cars out of shape in turn 4 and 3 wide racing for a moment there out of turn 4. Drivers do a nice job of handling that. Continues to be Gary Pulsiver, Mike Mayetta Jr., Steve Carrier in third, Kerry Winslow is fourth, Paul Johnson rounds out the top 5. Moving on the outside in the number 32, Joe Bowser. Now also into that outside group, Mike Johnson in the 33, Barry Babb in the 0. Challenge for the lead now, Mike Mayetta Jr. trying to work to the outside of Gary Pulsiver. Side-by-side challenge for that third place position. Mike Johnson comes to the outside of Steve Carrier. Johnson across the stripe takes over the third place position. And from the outside, Mike Mayetta Jr. puts a fender ahead. At turn 4, takes over the lead. Working lap 12, new leader, Mike Mayetta Jr. Mayetta back from a bad crash on the backstretch that took his regular car out of competition. He is in a backup car. put the car to the front. Mike Johnson moves around Gary Pulsifer to take over second. Pulsifer back to third. Paul Johnson is fourth, and Bobby Harrison fifth. Back in the pack, Bobby Randall trying to make a move now to the outside of Barry. A crash coming out of turn 4. Collects up 4 or 5 of the late models, and we immediately go under a red flag condition. Bobby Libby's exhaust momentarily flares up, gets blown out, and misfortune for Joe Bowser, Bobby Libby, Glenn Cusack, and Tim Land. Restart at turn 4. Green is out. Mike Mayetta Jr. and Mike Johnson side by side through turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch. Rookie Mike Mayetta, veteran Mike Johnson. Johnson goes way wide out of turn 4. Lead continues to be in the hands of Mike Mayetta Jr. Here comes Paul Johnson up the inside. Paul Johnson now looks beneath the 3 of Mike Mayetta. Strong move by Paul Johnson up the inside. Here comes Bobby Harrison. All of these competitors in the second, third, and fourth place position already feature winners here this year in the late model sportsman division. Paul Johnson in the 35, Mike Johnson in the 33, Cousins going at it wheel to wheel for that second place position. Bobby Harrison, a feature winner here about a week ago in an impressive way. Race continues to be for second. Mike Johnson now with the advantage from the outside. Mike Johnson puts a fender ahead. Paul Johnson back to the inside to challenge. Rookie Mike Mayetta doing a nice job. Have a spin between turns 3 and 4. Brings out the caution flag. Ready to restart. Once again, 20 laps down. Flagman Eddie Walsh gives the all clear. Pace car move to the infield pit road. Turn 4. Green is out. Slight advantage, Mike Mayetta Jr. from the inside. Mike Johnson working to the outside. Side by side on the backstretch. Mike Johnson, slight advantage at turn 4. Puts a fender ahead across the stripe. Mike Mayetta Jr. fights back on the inside. Veteran and a rookie right at the front. Slight advantage, Mike Johnson from the outside. Johnson puts the car ahead, working in lap number 23. New leader, Mike Johnson in the 33. Mike Mayetta Jr. is second, Paul Johnson third, Bobby Harrison fourth, and Mike Mayetta Sr. in fifth. Paul Johnson now trying to mount a challenge for that second place position. Moves to the outside to try a shot to the outside of the number 3. And as he does, Bobby Harrison fills the inside groove. Side-by-side battle for third. Harrison to the inside, Paul Johnson to the outside. Paul Johnson once again trying to make a bid to the outside of Mike Mayetta. Top 6 have pulled away from the rest of the pack. Side-by-side battle now for second. Mike Mayetta Jr. gets the car squirrely, has to back out of it. Second place now to the 35 of Paul Johnson. Father and son running side-by-side. Mike Mayetta Jr., Mike Mayetta Sr. Wheel to wheel now battling for third. Veteran and the rookie in a father-son battle to boot. Mike Mayetta moves the 13 into third place. Here comes Bobby Harrison on the outside. Bobby Babb and Kerry Winslow up knocking on the door of the top 5. Meanwhile, up front, comfortable lead for Mike Johnson, followed by cousin Paul Johnson in the 35. Mike Mayetta now with a lot of pressure from Bobby Harrison. Then comes Mike Mayetta Jr. Side-by-side battle, Kerry Winslow to the inside, Bobby Babb to the outside for that 6th place position. Side-by-side battle shaping up for third. Bobby Harrison gets the car out of shape, has to back out of it. Mike Mayetta continues to show the way in the 3rd place position over Bobby Harrison. Meanwhile, up front, Paul Johnson has closed it in on Mike Johnson. The 35, little by little, closing the gap on the 33. Once he was back 6 or 7 car lengths. Now it's about a car length and a half that Paul Johnson trails Mike Johnson. Draws it right up to the bumper now in the 2-turn. Bobby Harrison once again at the back bumper of Mike Mayetta. Tight battle for that 3rd place position as Bobby Harrison dives beneath the 13 of Mike Mayetta, trying to take over the 3rd place position. They go at it side by side once again. Mike Mayetta with the advantage on the straightaway. Bobby Harrison seems to close it up in the turns. Side-by-side battle shaping up for the lead as Mike Johnson goes a little wide, opens up the inside for Paul Johnson. Paul Johnson and Mike Johnson wheel to wheel out of turn 4. Slight advantage across the stripe to the inside and Paul Johnson. Johnson with the advantage, new leader working in lap 40. Paul Johnson takes over the point. Side-by-side battle continues for third as Bobby Harrison continues to work beneath the number 13 of Mike Mayetta. Mayetta back into the third place position as they continue to dice for position as the laps wind down. Working lap number 42, just 8 laps to go. Paul Johnson looking for feature win number 3 rather. Paul Johnson, 2 feature wins to his credit, looking for feature win number 3. Side-by-side battle continues for that third place position. Slight advantage to Mayetta from the outside. Bobby Harrison battles back on the inside. The race is for third. Couple of former champions going at it wheel to wheel. Advantage on the straight stretch to Mayetta. In the corners, the advantage goes back to Harrison. Harrison trying to hold it even this time. Out of the 4-turn once again, side by side. Slight advantage from the outside to Mayetta. In the corners, it's Harrison with the advantage. Side by side, they do the backstretch to turn 3. It will be just 2 laps to go, indicates flagman Eddie Walsh. Next time by, just 2 to go. Paul Johnson maintaining about a 3 to 4 car length lead over Mike Johnson. Slight advantage, Mike Mayetta from the outside for the third place position. But Harrison fights back on the inside. Once again, Mayetta with the advantage on the backstretch. Harrison tries to draw it even from the inside. White flag in the air. They're in their last lap. Checkered flag in the air. Paul Johnson, Mike Johnson, side by side across the line. We'll let the officials call that one. Bobby Harrison, Mike Mayetta across the line, side by side. Bobby Babb sideways down through turn 1 as he gets out into the speedy dry. Mid-season championship 50 lapper goes to Paul Johnson, and he collects the colors from flagman Eddie Walsh. Will make his parade lap. Official finish on the leaderboard. Second place to Mike Johnson, third place to Mike Mayetta in the number 13, fourth place Bobby Harrison in the 37, and in fifth place the number 3 Mike Mayetta Jr. Paul Johnson returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh.
Congratulations, Paul. 50 laps later, here you are.
Thank you, Andy. Hey, it was a tough run. You know, car was going real well. Picked up a little bit of push, but we got out in front. You know, I got around Mike. He was going a little high, and you know, things worked pretty good for us. You know, it's one of those nights when your luck's right with you. Hang on to it.
Your cousin Mike Johnson's team car with Mikey Mayetta behind the wheel was giving you quite a run too, and both of you had some trouble getting around.
Yeah, he was going real good. You know, he's picking it up real well. He's going to be, you know, real tough competitor the rest of the year. Everybody thinks he might be a rookie, but he's got the makings of a good driver. You know, that's the thing about it. You got to try to finish these races and, you know, race with the guys that race out here all the time, and he'll pick up a lot of experience. You've got a good group of guys that we'll race with.
Your car obviously looked dialed in tonight, and so did Mike's for a while. Then it looked as though he started going a bit wider and wider. Was something wrong with his car, do you think, that allowed you to get by on the inside?
I really don't know. You know, his tires got warmed up. He kind of slowed down a little bit, and I think ours stayed about the same. You know, we was pushing a little, but you know, that's the way I like him, I guess.
You're the guy with the flag at the end of the race, and that's what counts. Tonight, Dave Fenderson from Maine Lubrication Services has the presentation for you. Dave?
Well, congratulations on a very fine race, and on behalf of the all the people here tonight from Maine Lubrication Service, including your brother Gary, who's one of our outstanding employees. Pleased to present you this trophy, and you've got a great reputation for racing, and I'm very pleased to meet you. This is the first time I've had the chance, and you're a great athlete.
Thank you, Mr. Fittenson. I really appreciate you guys coming out and sponsoring us every year. You guys have been a strong supporter for us, and for companies like you, we really, make it a lot tougher for us. So I want to thank you for your support.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a nice round of applause for Main Lubrication Services being with us, and Paul Johnson with a late model Sportsman victory tonight. Thank you all for being here tonight. Hope to see you next Saturday night with the midget race cars on hand. Bruce Elder, back to you.